Starting off this countdown, we have the bullying scandal. Hailey is no stranger to bullying. In middle school, Hailey was supposedly really mean and bullied a lot of her classmates. She was exposed by a TikToker named Kimono Elizabeth. She uploaded a video with the caption, "Think you can hurt me? Hailey Bieber was my middle school bully." She then posted a follow-up video to address this claim. She said, and I quote, "I was in 5th grade, Hailey was in 6th. She bullied me. Middle school is full of kids who are either bullies or bullied. Unfortunately, I was bullied, and for that year, Hailey was my bully." In our 9th spot, we have the body shaming. Hailey Bieber needs to stay off social media once and for all. This is one of the videos that sparked the whole Selena-Hailey drama. Basically, photos of Selena Gomez on vacation in a bikini were posted online. Now, Selena has lupus and had a kidney transplant. The meds she is on makes her weight fluctuate, so Selena was body shamed online for the bikini photos since she did gain weight. Meanwhile, Hailey posted a TikTok of herself with Kendall Jenner and Justine Skye lip-syncing to the audio. "I'm not saying she deserved it, but God's timing is always right." Many people believe that this video was about Selena and that they were happy that Selena had gained weight. In no world is body shaming okay. Now, when Selena saw this, she commented, and I quote, "It's okay, I don't let these things get me down. Be nice to everyone." She also went live later on TikTok to respond to the fat shaming. In our 8th spot today, we have the sabotage. Now, if you're in this Hailey Bieber rabbit hole, then you would know that people think that she is obsessed with Selena. More on this later. But there's so many conspiracies that with the help of Kendall Jenner, Hailey was able to sabotage Selena's relationship with Bieber so that she could swoop in and steal her man away. It's very clear that Hailey was a fan of Justin ever since she was young. It seems like she was determined to have him from the start. First off, back in 2014, Justin and Selena went to Paris together. When Kendall found out, she flew to Paris and had dinner with him. Justin apparently told Selena he was having dinner with his security team. Later, when Selena found out the truth, she ended the relationship and left Paris 2 days early. Kendall knew exactly what she was doing, and she succeeded. When Selena returned home, she tweeted out saying that she learned her lesson the hard way. So from the beginning of time, Kendall and Hailey have been out for Selena and her relationship. Moving on to number 7, we have the copying. Hailey has this weird, sick fascination with Selena, or so it seems. First off, there have been so many times where Hailey has responded to an interview question the exact same way that Selena did. Now, at first I thought it was a stretch, but it happened so many times that it can't keep being a coincidence. Example 1. In an interview, Selena said, and I quote, "Somebody asked me a while ago, what's the one thing you wish people knew about you? And I said, I wanted it to be my heart." In an interview, Hailey said, "I wish people just knew my heart." There's a bunch of other times that Hailey has said something that is spot on or similar to something that Selena has also said. And the TikTok sleuths have formed compilations of these moments. Now, Hailey isn't just copying what Selena is saying, she's copying other aspects of her life too, like her tattoo. Selena has a lowercase g behind her left ear for her sister Gracie, who was born in 2013. Later on, Hailey got a lowercase g too, on the same side, in the same spot, and in the same font. Isn't that weird? Also, when Selena and Justin were dating, Selena had a promise ring from him that had the letter J on it. Then on Hailey and Justin's anniversary, Hailey got a J tattooed on her finger, but it's the exact same style and font as Selena's ring was. In our 6th spot today, we have the eyebrow drama. This dang eyebrow drama. I'm over it, so hopefully they can be over it too. But it all started in February of 2013 when Selena posted a TikTok saying that she accidentally laminated her brows too much. Only a couple hours later, Kylie Jenner posted a photo of her brows on her Instagram story with the caption, "This was an accident?" Fans immediately thought this was shade towards Selena, especially since Kylie and Hailey are close friends. Not only that, but her next story was a screenshot of her and Hailey on a FaceTime call. Both Hailey and Kylie had their phones close to their face, showing off their eyebrows. Again, people think that this was a jab at Selena. Now, if this was aimed at Selena, then these two are out here starting drama for absolutely no reason whatsoever. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with being rude to other celebrities. So we all know Hailey is rude to Selena, but it's not just Selena. She has been mean to a number of other well-known celebrities, including Selena Gomez's bestie, Taylor Swift. In 2018, Hailey was featured in an episode of Drop the Mic. During the show, the host introduced the show and said, and I quote, "Hollywood's top stars face off in a one-on-one rap battle full of the meanest lyrics about a celebrity since Taylor Swift's last album." After he said Taylor Swift's last album, Hailey makes a gag puke face. As the clip made rounds, Selena stood up for her bestie and posted, and I quote, "So sorry, my best friend is and continues to be one of the best in the game." And at number 4, we have the modeling. With all this drama surfacing, people are taking this as a sign to share their Hailey Bieber encounter horror stories. One girl stated that her and Hailey were signed to the same modeling agency when they were teenagers. She said, and I quote, "She was so cold to me. She treated me like trash. It was just the vibe she gave off, like she really thought that she was better than everyone in the room. And I'm like, girl, we're both underage here. We're both signed to the same agency. Like, treat me with respect. I'm coming up to you asking you how you're doing." Till this day, she's the least favorite celebrity encounter I've ever had. Wow, that is rough. In our 3rd spot today, we have rude to restaurant staff. Apparently, Hailey has really bad manners. Another person took to TikTok to expose her after she was rude to staff at a restaurant. Former restaurant hostess Julia Carolyn said, and I quote, "This is gonna be controversial. I've met her a handful of times and every time she was not nice. I really want to like her, but I have to give her like a 3.5 out of 10. Sorry." Now Hailey did see this video and actually apologized to Julia about how she treated her during their encounter. And at number 2, we have the concert. This is another story from someone who had an encounter with Hailey. They were both at a concert and she approached Hailey nicely and asked for a picture. She said, and I quote, "Hi Hailey, I'm a big fan." But you could tell that she was not happy. Apparently, Hailey started rolling her eyes and huffing. She then posed for the photo and afterwards said, "Do you want anything else from me?" The girl was embarrassed and thanked her for the photo and told her to enjoy the concert. Afterwards, she could hear Hailey and her friend group mocking them and mimicking their voice, which caused them all to laugh out loud hysterically. Now, that is certainly no way to treat a fan. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the past tweets. You gotta be careful what you post online because chances are it will come back and bite you in the bum. And this happened to Hailey Bieber. A collection of Hailey's old tweets have come back to haunt her, and some of the things she said are racist and xenophobic. One tweet said, and I quote, "Shut up before I smack you back to your own country." Then we have, "Leaving Florida white but coming back to New York a different race." And "To those foreigners who don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so sorry your country didn't have pilgrims and Indians to start such a sick holiday." Oh no, Hailey. No, no, no.
In our 10th spot, a Hollywood nobody. Royal expert Tom Bowers spoke with GB News on Monday to suggest how the Duke and Duchess not showing up at any Oscar party events proved their influence in Hollywood is disappearing. On television, Tom stated, "They really are nobodies in Hollywood." An example of the former would be the Californian couple's notable absence from Sir Elton John's AIDS Foundation's 31st Annual Academy Awards viewing party, an event in which a large number of A-listers were seen celebrating. The topic of Sir Elton can become controversial because of how he has remained a constant support in Harry's life, including the time he performed at Harry and Meghan's 2018 wedding in Windsor. The famed musician was furthermore a close friend of Harry's late mother, Princess Diana, and carried out that great bond with the Duke after Diana passed in 1997. In August 2019, the Sussexes took a trip to visit Sir Elton and David in their €15 million home during the couple's French Riviera holiday trip. This vacation happened shortly after Meghan and Harry returned from the UK to Ibiza on a private jet following a 6-night getaway on the Spanish island to celebrate Meghan's 38th birthday. In a statement released later on, Elton defended his friend by admitting he paid for the exclusive plane. Detailed to be a rock to the former royals, Elton made sure to speak up after the backlash that came from the couple's use of 4 private jets in 11 days back in 2019, referring to Diana as one of his dearest friends whose family he felt a profound sense of obligation to protect. Before we jump into number 9, subscribe to Where Are They Now for more up-to-date celebrity news. In our 9th spot, celebrity peers want zero association. Around the time of September 2022, there was a slew of famous faces who apparently refused to be associated with Meghan, and it wasn't long before royal experts were hot on Meghan's tail with warnings of the growing amount of dislikes she seemed to be amassing on a broad global scale. These same advisors voiced concerns about a potential exile at the time. These claims were made specifically by Richard Eden, one of the Daily Mail's diary editors, who discussed this in a Mail Plus interview with Palace Confidential. In the sit-down, he relayed, "We didn't hear much about Serena, it was all about Meghan. It was very much, that's enough about me, what do you think of me?" Instead of Serena making headlines, all the headlines have been about Meghan's stories and the things she disclosed during this podcast. It was a missed opportunity, certainly for Serena, given that I'm not sure famous people will be queuing up to go on because they'll know it's actually all about the supposed interviewer. In our 8th spot, planned place in Harry's life. Many devoted royal fans and followers have been super adamant about their suspicions of Meghan cleverly crafting up a plot to rank high in fame and straight into Harry's heart. While many have classed her as sneaky for supposedly weaseling her wants in life out of the Duke, others commended Meghan for her hard work at a dream millions of modern day women are also trying to achieve. However, the question begs to differ. Is Meghan an opportunist? Maybe. But did she play her cards right even if she's not? Without a doubt. Yet she did this without the dramatically conniving way that trolls would like everyone to think. She simply chased her dreams in search of her happy ending and impressively managed to become one of the world's most famous women in the process. Now, I don't know for sure about y'all, but that sounds like a lot of aspiring celebrities' dreams to me. In our 7th spot, truth of lies. We know Oprah Winfrey is the queen of chit-chat, as she's given the world some of the most iconic interviews and stories of our generation. So naturally, royal fans were in absolute shambles when it was revealed the couple was doing a tell-all. And as much flack as Meghan has caught over this, it does make sense that she was resolute in disclosing her former royal rumbles. From that point, Meghan had to basically disappear from the public eye, get rid of her social media accounts, follow every one of their many rules, and keep absolutely quiet while the whole world continued to discuss her. Therefore, when Meghan quit being a royal, she was surely entitled to tell her side of events and defend the never-ending backlash, right? Her truth was deemed lies, but she wasn't exactly floating through Hollywood bad-mouthing the royals, showing off her baby to paparazzi, or posting controversial tweets. Even more, she remained pretty dignified throughout the whole process. As it's been noted, Meghan could have done far more damage if she felt like it. In our 6th spot, banking off her life. Word of Meghan banking off her life has been a constant hot topic during her time in Hollywood, especially regarding all of her and Harry's more recent showbiz deals with Spotify and Netflix. However, it can be argued that Meghan is simply doing what she loves and should be allowed to do so. Meghan's been called nothing short of fame hungry, with resentful people spreading false news about her supposedly plotting her Hollywood return all along. But Prince Harry nipped that one in the butt when he informed Oprah that their business deals happened last minute because of their financial situation, insisting the Netflixes and Spotifys of it all was never part of the plan. Even more, Meghan already had a prior presence in Hollywood through a handful of advertisements, minor roles, and her brief time as a briefcase girl on Deal or No Deal. This eventually landed her a major role in a hit TV series, which shows she's dedicated to her craft and has a true passion for being in the industry above all. So with everything from her past with the royal family, Meghan must have been at least a little bit relieved to dip her toes back into the public she's most familiar with. Some Meghan supporters even argued that the couple has remained sans rom-coms and reality shows, and that their content is overall motivational and raises awareness for issues like mental health. In our 5th spot, didn't try hard enough with the royals. It's been argued time and time again by the masses that Meghan never put any effort into her life as a royal. However, However, the same sentiment can be reversed. In fact, I think sometimes Meghan tried too hard to fit into the royal family's way of living. Of course, the life of a higher power is no easy feat, and honestly, there probably aren't many people who could successfully put themselves in that position to thrive. It's been reported how their policies, procedures, and relentless rules are enough to push anyone to the brink of insanity. So it's proper to note how Meghan remained on the entire time she was a royal family member, never once dropping the ball. She had no public meltdowns or outbursts even, which could show that she never raised any personal drama, even in her lowest times. But rather, the drama was truly crowding in from the public's opinion of her. In our fourth spot, took Harry from his royal duties. People will naysay about this topic all day, but the truth of the matter is that Harry himself repeatedly stated he chose to walk away from the royals and Meghan had nothing to do with it. Still, according to reports and the general public, Meghan is a master manipulator and is the reason why she and Harry are still together now. However, some have stated Meghan should not be blamed for Meghanix because Harry is a grown man who should be held accountable for his own decisions and actions. Harry even admitted his desire to leave the royal family as early as his early 20s. During a Dax Shepard episode for his Armchair Expert podcast, Harry stated his quick realization of not wanting to be associated with the royals while reaching adulthood. Quote, "It was a case of, I don't want this job, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be doing this. Look what it did to my mom." In our third spot, attention-seeking backlash. If you side with the general public, Meghan's confession of once wanting to end her life was another manipulation tactic for attention. But any other empathetic human could tell you it was more of a cry for help. During her Oprah chit-chat during promotion for the Duke's then newest Apple TV docuseries, The Me You Can't See, Harry admitted that moments prior to them taking photos at a charity event, Meghan revealed her dark, troubled thoughts to him. Because of the system we were in and the responsibilities and duties we had a quick cuddle, and then we had to go to the Royal Albert Hall for a charity event and step out into a wall of cameras and pretend as though everything was okay, Harry stated on the Manor. In our second spot, too much family drama. Also, per the public, Meghan can't stay out of drama, and this ties into not only her tension with the royal family, but also issues with her own. Similar to Harry's relationship with King Charles III, Meghan and her father, Thomas Markle, have shared their own back and forth experiences, even prior to Meghan's fame. According to Meghan's childhood sweetheart, Joshua Silverstein, her and Thomas's relationship has been consistently complicated. He explained, "I did know Meghan's relationship with her dad was complicated, and I understood that as most teenage to parent relationships are. Being there when Meghan's parents were divorced at that time, it's hard raising your kids without the secondary parent. It's all challenging." Putting aside feuding and overall family history, it wouldn't have made sense that Meghan suddenly became publicly estranged from her dad so quickly before her wedding for the entire world to witness. It had to have been years of build-up, and in retrospect, most families would miserably fail this kind of overnight global spotlight, revealing their woeful past as such. In our first spot, problematic pregnancy. A lot of Meghan's heighted hate came at what was supposed to be one of the most joyous life occasions. While she was heavily pregnant and set to give birth a few weeks later, online users were targeting her for just about everything under the sun. The way she looked, how she spoke, what she was negatively trending for, damn near down to how she breathed. It was all very much insane. Despite that time meaning to be a happy one for Meghan, she was probably no doubt in just as much emotional and mental pain as she was in physical. And the argument still stands that no woman deserves to be distressed or depressed right before welcoming new life into the world.
Coming in at number 10 is Bella Thorne. Back in 2015, actress Bella Thorne talked to 17 magazine about why she hates a mysterious, unnamed young woman in Hollywood. While she didn't name one specific person, Bella gave a few hints about who the mysterious woman is. Other than saying she stays away from this person at all costs, she has described the mean girl as someone who has been a billionaire since she was very little, who is in the business with siblings, and that she's never had to work for anything in her life. She says that this person being a billionaire isn't the problem, but more so that she makes sure everyone knows she's a billionaire, and she uses her privilege to bully other people and treat them as inferior. There are a few potential individuals who could fit the part of the mystery mean girl, including some Jenners and Hadids, but given Bella's friendship with both parties, the frontrunner by all accounts is model and actress Nicola Peltz. Her father really is a billionaire, and she has 7 siblings and 2 half-siblings. She got into major films without much experience, and she's rumored to have been a bully in high school. Not to mention, Nicola Nicola also starred in the 2014 independent film Affluenza opposite Greg Sulkin, who is Bella's main squeeze. Number 9. Nepotism. As I said in the last point, Nicola comes from a large and very wealthy family. Her father is billionaire businessman Nelson Peltz, and her mother is Claudia Hefner Peltz, a businesswoman and a former model. Nelson himself is worth a whopping $1.5 billion, which actually outshines the Beckham family's combined net worth. The family lives on a sprawling estate in Bedford, New York, and owns an equally luxurious spread in Florida, which boasts 27 bedrooms, sits on 13 acres, and has its own private beach. Nicola also has 7 siblings. Her brother Brad Peltz was drafted to play professional hockey for the Ottawa Senators in 2009. A few of her brothers went into business like their father, with Matthew Peltz and Diesel Peltz both winding up on the Forbes 30 Under 30 for finance and consumer technology respectively. Her older sister Brittany is bigger in the world of fashion as a designer, and was pretty casual when she mentioned that she got advice from frickin' Vera Wang. So yeah, her family is pretty successful, feeding off of the connections they have acquired by being the children of Nelson. And Nicola is no different. She started acting from a young age, using connections to land her agent when she was around 11 years old. Number 8. Not the nannies. Being from such a life of privilege, the Peltz family had help in the form of nannies and butlers. There's nothing wrong with that. These jobs exist for a reason. But what is wrong is the way that those people were sometimes treated. And apparently, Nicola was the one who treated them the worst. In one of the worst examples of this, Peltz reportedly summoned a butler to the master bathroom after she discovered drops of pee-pee on the toilet seat. She demanded that the butler clean it up, which he did, but then insisted that he clean the toilet seat again and again. 4 more cleanings of the same toilet seat later, and Peltz ordered 1 more for luck. Apparently, Peltz picked up on some kind of attitude from the butler and informed him that she didn't like it, so she dismissed him on Easter Sunday. Apparently, as a child, Nicola would routinely threaten maids that her daddy will fire them if they don't do as she asks. Her last nanny was reportedly hauled out of the house by 2 bodyguards. So, yeah, I don't know. Apparently, new faces appear at the house on an almost weekly basis. The family was also apparently known for punishing staff for eating leftover food that was destined for the garbage, so that's something. Number 7. Jelly. This one, in my opinion, is just a tidbit of stupidity. Not on Nicola's part, but on the internet's. Nicola posted a picture on her Instagram account showing her being hugged from behind by her designer friend, Giuliano Calza. Calza grabs her from behind and gives her a kiss on the cheek, and he jokingly posted in the comments of the photo, quote, "Make Brooklyn jelly." Some fans immediately had their underwear tied in a knot on this though, hurling out claims that Nicola is purposely trying to make Brooklyn, her husband, actually jealous. What many fans may have missed was the second image in this post, which shows Brooklyn there with several lip marks on his right cheek and posing with his wife. Despite the fact that they both appear and that everything apparently has a joking tone, there was no shortage of fans who strongly criticized the images published by the actress. One fan wrote in the comments, quote, "Dear Brooklyn, this woman is humiliating you. Enough is enough." While another fan also wrote, quote, "This is so disrespectful to Brooklyn. You used him by name. Ugh." What all these commenters failed to realize, other than Brooklyn being in the second image and covered in lipstick kisses, is that Calza is gay. Luckily, some other more observant fans pointed this out, saying, quote, "How come no one realizes that he's not only gay, but a designer? You're all too gullible." Number 6, the Hadids. Before Nicola would go on to date and then marry Brooklyn Beckham, she had a rather short relationship with another Hollywood nepo baby. Nicola dated Anwar Hadid, the brother of Bella and Gigi Hadid, for 2 or 3 years. Now, anyone hating on Nicola for their eventual breakup should take note of the fact that it seems like Anwar here is actually the problem. In 2018, amid their relationship, Anwar was photographed making out with and cuddling Kendall Jenner for like 2 hours or something like that. The relationship was pretty instantaneously done at that point, with Nicola being super dramatic and unfollowing literally all the Hadids except for some cousins. And the Hadids seemed to instantly do the same, with the younger family members seemingly also erasing all of her pictures from their timelines, like she never existed. The thing is, they have apparently not done that with anybody else. They still have The Weeknd and Zayn on several of their timelines, so it seems this is just a Nicola thing. Will we ever know why? No, probably not. Number 5, golden teeth. As with a few points on this list, I'm not sure this is totally a reason to hate Nicola or even her husband, but these two weirdos got one of each of their wisdom teeth, had them encased in a gold mold, and had them turned into necklaces. Normally you see matching heart necklaces or something else like that, but golden wisdom teeth necklaces is a new one. I can honestly see how it could be kind of cute. Actually, no, I can't. It's weird, and I don't like it. Yes, maybe this point is just my personal preference, but this couldn't be me. I don't know. Peltz posted a close-up of their matching golden chains to her Instagram story on March 25th, writing, "I got our wisdom teeth made into necklaces at Brooklyn Beckham. You're my best friend." Brooklyn followed this up with his own story the same day, writing, "The best gift from my best friend and the most amazing fiance. I love you like crazy." So, at least they're both happy. The pair also spent that day getting matching tattoos, and Brooklyn actually has quite a few tattoos for his wife. As long as they don't pull a Megan Fox and MGK and drink each other's blood and get rings that hurt when you take them off, I guess we can let this one slide. Number 4, wedding planners. In April 2022, Nicola and Brooklyn Beckham married each other in a ceremony held at her parents' estate in Palm Beach, Florida, the one with the 27 rooms. While the wedding itself was star-studded and really nice, there was behind-the-scenes drama that led to legal action. Nicola's father, Nelson, filed a lawsuit against the wedding planners, Plan Design Events, citing that the deposit he put down for their services was never returned. The wedding planners themselves were reportedly replaced just 9 days into the planning process because, according to the lawsuit, they misrepresented themselves regarding their experience, expertise, and capability of planning the wedding. But Plan Design Events hit back with a countersuit citing breach of contract, naming Nicola and her mother as third parties in the suit. In their legal documents, they made some interesting claims about how Nicola spent over $100,000 on hair and makeup for the wedding, and how details of planning the wedding were supposed to be kept from Victoria Beckham, Brooklyn's mom. But Daddy was having none of that. In March 2023, Nelson Peltz filed to remove his wife and daughter from the proceedings, and a document from his lawyers states, quote, "PDE, that's the company, shamefully attempts to falsely portray Nicola in an extremely negative light to entice the media and hopefully pressure Mr. Peltz to dismiss his well-founded claims against PDE." While this was tailor-made for the tabloids, it could not be further from the truth. We don't know who will be winning this case just yet, but nothing like having your dad fight your legal battles, right? Number 3, posh spicy drama. But that was not the only drama that came out of the dreamy yet somewhat problematic wedding. Now, depending on your take, this could totally be fluffed up drama from the tabloids. What essentially went down here is that when Nicola Peltz Beckham walked down the aisle last April to marry Brooklyn Beckham, she did so in custom Valentino haute couture. Now, why does that matter? It really doesn't, but basically this caused an uproar online because the Valentino was worn in place of a dress being designed by Brooklyn's mom, Victoria Beckham. Nicola spoke on this in an interview with Variety where she said, quote, "I was going to wear Victoria Beckham and I really wanted to, and then a few months down the line, she realized that her atelier couldn't do it. So then I had to pick another dress." She didn't say you can't wear it. I didn't say I didn't want to wear it. That's where it started, and then they ran with it. So apparently there wasn't actually any real drama, it just worked out differently. And to prove that it probably wasn't actually a problem, we know Nicola did wear a Victoria Beckham original for her engagement photos with Brooklyn in July 2020. So why the wedding dress would matter so much as to cause drama is anyone's guess. Number 2, family dirty linen. But because the drama was circulated around, leading to several headlines about it, Nicola and Brooklyn did respond to those claims, which led to a David Beckham confrontation with Brooklyn Beckham. A source told the Daily Mail, quote, "I don't think David has ever lost his temper with Brooklyn or had cause to talk to him harshly, but that has now finally happened." The source said that David apparently read the riot act to his eldest child. Apparently, a few of the exact words said were, quote, "We don't do this in our family, and you know that we don't do this in our family." And also, quote, "What happens next is up to you, but we are done with the drama." David was upset over comments made by Peltz and Brooklyn in an interview for Grazia US Fall 2020 cover story, where Brooklyn said, quote, "To be honest, my wife is obviously my first priority and I never want to see her upset ever. When people do/say ridiculous things, we just talk about it and we just move on. We have each other's back 100% and we just move on together." Apparently, David was really appalled by the Grazia interview because it seemed to be washing the family dirty linen in public. That's a quote, that's what he said. So it's more a matter of, son, just don't talk about it with anyone than anything really damaging. And finally, in at number 1, bad actress. Look, I'm sorry to say this because it's not exactly fair, but it just kind of seems like people don't like Nicola Peltz because she's just a bit of a bad actress. That feels really mean to say considering how she is barely even a C-list actress so far in her career, and it is arguably a subjective opinion to have, but people on the internet seem to have this common complaint against the actress. Her biggest roles so far in her career have been in 2014's Transformers: Age of Extinction, 2010's The Last Airbender, and the TV series Bates Motel. Now for both Transformers and The Last Airbender, those movies earned abysmal ratings of 17% and 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. 5! Both movies independently got Nicola nominated for the Worst Supporting Actress at the Golden Raspberry Awards in 2011 and 2015, but she did receive a few Breakout Performer nominations and wins for Transformers. On the other hand, Bates Motel was pretty universally loved, and Nicola played a main role for Season 1 with a recurring role in Season 2 and 3. But she doesn't seem to be anything phenomenal, and that opinion, mixed with her Nepo baby status and the apparently rich girl mean personality thing, hasn't rubbed people the right way.
In our 10th spot, Obsessive Momager. We all know Kris has acted as her children's momager since their careers took off. Even though many give credit to Kim's fame for the initial popularity surrounding the beginning of Keeping Up with the Kardashians' airtime, momager Kris is the true mastermind behind all of her kids' massively rewarding careers. The businesswoman became a constant push for her kids' brand expansion, attempting to excel them in just about every career path in exchange for 10% of their earnings. Kris has boosted endless amounts of her offspring's products, including hair care liquids, dryers, perfumes, and makeup lines. Essentially, if there's a product worth raving over, you better believe the Kardashians create and distribute it accordingly. Outside of beauty and care, the Kardashian-Jenner girls additionally sell clothing lines and books on top of a plethora of ventures. While Kris will be the first to admit that not every product will make the mark, it never stops the family from releasing more. On this, Kris once stated, "It doesn't mean that we're always looking for more or we're greedy. There's a lot of people that have great ideas, dreams, and whatnot, but unless you're willing to work really hard for what you want, it's never going to happen." And that's what's so great about the girls, it's all about their work ethic. Before we jump into number 9, subscribe to our channel to keep up with current trending celebrity news. In our 9th spot, Calculated. As proven by our last point, Kris is a master genius when it comes to promoting her family name to boost their celebrity status. The star revealed in her 2011 autobiography, Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashians, that her initial goal was to extend their 15 minutes of fame. Following a few seasons of KUWTK, the series was failing to bring in a concentrated audience. Then, Kourtney's pregnancy made the family a lot more relatable to viewers, despite the wealth they harbored. The show, once centered around arguments about the latest fashion trends and hottest eateries, soon became a focal point of massive moments like childbirth, marriages, splits, and divorces, making the Kardashians' formerly artificial-feeling drama more realistic and easily accessible to the average watcher. It wasn't long before Kris understood the exact way to manipulate the public to keep the show's ratings up, and her daughter's at the forefront of every media headline and magazine cover, detailing, "I started to look at our careers like pieces on a chessboard. Every day I woke up, walked into my office, and asked myself, what move do you need to make today? It was very calculated. My business decisions and strategies were very intentional, definite, and managed to the nth degree." In our 8th spot, Self-Absorbed. Kris has been referred to as self-absorbed for as long as she's been around, and the realistic wax figure of herself featured in her home, gifted by the Hollywood Wax Museum, certainly did not help. Kim once attended a dinner party with her then husband and industry pals, John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, and ran into the waxed figure of her mother. In sheer surprise, Kim filmed a close-up of its face and marveled at how detailed it was, even noting the exact beauty mark on Chris's chin and her hairline. Following this, Kris told Kim of the figure in her home, "It's so you can visit me and not have to listen to me talk to you." In our 7th spot, Control Freak. Of course, for avid KUWTK enjoyers, this next point, like many others, won't come as a surprise, given Kris has been called a control freak by her own family endless times. Since we know the Mama 6 is the puppeteering ringleader who crafted all her children's careers, it makes sense that things had played out exactly how she desired. She even once admitted, "I guess if I get a little weird about something that isn't the way I want it, and I complain, then it's called controlling. I like everything a certain way, I'm not somebody who can just let it happen. And I think that's what got me to where I am in life at the same time. I can't turn it on and off." One example of Kris's control freakish nature is the speculation surrounding her allegedly planning her daughter's simultaneous pregnancies. We all know jaws were a bit slack when 3 of the Kardashian-Jenner siblings were all reportedly expecting at the same time. Well, a rumor bred from this that Kris was the planner behind the 2018 back-to-back pregnancies to boost ratings and bring in more bills. According to an insider, the drama surrounding this theory birthed endorsements, TV specials, and book deals. And the result? Kim and Kanye's third child, Khloe's first with her then partner Tristan Thompson, and Kylie's first daughter with Travis. In our 6th spot, stepping in for Caitlyn. There was mad talk at one point that Kris allegedly snagged Caitlyn's show idea, and this started from Caitlyn's The Secrets of My Life memoir. According to the trans star, it was her idea to produce KUWTK. While Kris was the one of the pair who was friends with TV production company owner Ryan Seacrest, who was conveniently scoping out a new TV program at the time, Caitlyn previously claimed she was the pitcher behind the reality show for their whimsical blended family. Kris later went on to insist that she was the sole originator of the show's concept. Despite the argument, Kris, in the end, did put in the work needed to get it going. However, this could be argued by Caitlyn that it was because the momager took over the process and refused to relax until everything was perfect and to her standard. Then there was also the thing where Kris was reportedly responsible for shaping Caitlyn's career as a motivational speaker. While still in her marriage to Robert Kardashian, Kris was on the ins with the richest, but she was soon cut off from his wealth for reasons we'll discuss a little later on. So when she and then Bruce got married, they didn't have a lot of money collectively. Kris did what she does best though and transformed then Bruce's underwhelming motivational speaking career into a major success. Following Caitlyn's successful press campaign, the pair received massive sponsors like Coca-Cola and Visa. Kris went on to market her Finding the Champion Within speech to bigger audiences, which eventually landed them major financial gains, workout videos, and infomercials to name a few. In our 5th spot, Fame Hungry. According to just about everyone, Kris used her children as a quick grab for cash. And while her attempts were successful, there's still a running narrative around the Kardashians that Kris turned Kim's former adult tape into the multi-million-dollar media empire they currently own. As for Ian Halperin's Kardashian Dynasty book, there are claims that both Kris and her daughter made a 2007 deal with Vivid Entertainment to leak the infamous video, which Kim made with rapper and former partner Ray J. The second eldest Kardashian was supposedly in search of the level of fame her then bestie Paris Hilton had, and was allegedly informed a leak could pave the way to instant success. It surely doesn't help that this method truly did work in the end. However, the New York Times best-selling author also alleged that one of Kim's former pals informed him it was Kris who engineered the deal behind the scenes and was responsible for the tape seeing the light of day. In our 4th spot, strategic media boss. Kris, among her many reported talents, truly knows how to give the media exactly what they're looking for. It's been a classic Hollywood tactic for about as long as the industry has been around, giving fans just enough of a sneak peek through trailers to get hooked without arguably spoiling all the best parts. And while the momager tends to recite this strategy in her own ways to successfully tease the media and general public. Strategically, the Kardashian crew would often offer up tidbits of information and stories to the media that made it seem like one thing, but saved the real drama to play out on their show. Kris's plan couldn't have been smarter though, as the show lasted for 20 whole seasons and saw several spin-off series, all within their own various peaks throughout their collective airtime. Not to mention, every single Kardashian kid is a media sensation, whether it's for good or bad reasons. In our 3rd spot, celebrities hate her. Whether it's Mariah Carey or Wendy Williams, who reportedly aren't fans of Kris because of pretentious behavior and parenting skills, or her own family like Brody and Esther Jenner, who reportedly cannot stand Kris due to their rocky riffs, there are tons of celebrities who allegedly despise Kris. Serving as her family's October 2007 debut show's executive producer and managing all of her 6 kids' boss lady style, Kris not only managed to create the famous for being famous brand, but it's also been argued that she forced her family right into the center of Hollywood with no plans on letting up. Obviously, with that much grit and determination, Kris was bound to piss off a few stars on the higher ranks. However, the amount of just how many stars don't like Kris, as per reports, is still damn near startling. I guess that's what happens when you can turn so much nothing into such a big something though. In our 2nd spot, cheating past. Good lord, where does one start with such a sticky past? I mean, I guess from the beginning. Introducing Cesar Sanudo, the man who was madly in love with his wife right until he caught her in bed with entrepreneurial lawyer Robert Kardashian. Of course, given everything else reported about Kris, it's not surprising she decided to place her bets on a wealthier, more successful man, who just so happened to be Rob. However, along the way of their attraction journey, Robert couldn't commit because he considered Kris too flighty. Then came the questions surrounding Robert himself. You'd think after publicly cheating once, Kris would cool down, except she later stepped forward to claim she was sorry for cheating on Robert too. Like, imagine that. And the worst part is that she openly revealed it while doubting Rob was Khloe's biological dad after all. And just when things couldn't get any messier, Robert also admitted he was co-signing Kris's Khloe debate. And that was just the start of what we now know of. In our first spot, bad wife, bad mom, bad life. According to Caitlyn, back when she was bruised, Kris knew she was a crossdresser from the beginning, despite insisting otherwise. When Caitlyn sat down with Diane Sawyer for another candid interview, she revealed she had even dressed up at the Playboy Mansion prior, something that came with image proof. Caitlyn further alleged how Kris forbade her from cross-dressing while at home, but the subject wasn't pushed for very long. More so, Kris tends to have a rather bad habit of putting her family's brand before themselves. From the instant she lost everything in her messy divorce from Robert, Kris has been on a mission to keep her empire up and afloat. In return, she received a blessing in her 6 attractable kids and her unmovable will to succeed regardless of the stakes. Similar to her mother, Mary Jo, supposedly not opposed to using Kris, this star seems to look at her kids as massive money-making machines rather than children, and this includes keeping their valuable brand intact. There have been several instances of this throughout their careers, but most notably, Kris tends to put work before play and often ridicules her children if it means they can get ahead. For one, Kylie once recalled sitting in a nail shop for hours on end beautifying herself when all she desired was to go outside and play. Khloe was likely traumatized by the childhood acts of her underarms being waxed with zero explanation, and Kylie was rumoredly pressured to receive plastic surgery when she was merely 18, meaning Kris would have had to sign a form to make it happen. On top of that, all of her encouragement for beauty enhancements and massive weight loss techniques to be prettier and better for their brand so as not to damage it are without a doubt toxic.
Coming in at number 10, it's how she became famous. Most of the Kardashians' younger fans only know of them because of their hit reality show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Or maybe even because they are just some of the most famous people on the planet, and you can't really exist in this world without seeing or hearing about them somewhere. The rest of their fans know them individually from their entrepreneurial endeavors, but for the majority of people who are old enough, we know the real reason that the Kardashians became famous. It was from Kim's famous tape. The accidental leak of this tape skyrocketed Kim to stardom, and a lot of people resent the fact that that is what led to the rest of the whole family's success. Kim went from being Paris Hilton's personal assistant to getting her own reality show, and a lot of people credit the leaked tape for that. But coming in at number 9, it's also famous for being famous. Although Kim is famous for no really great reason, she has turned her fame into more fame, which is actually kind of impressive when you think about it. It's not really a good reason to be famous, but I think the whole Kardashian-Jenner clan have a skill for creating their own fame. Specifically Kim, but I also think it has a lot to do with the matriarch of the whole clan, Kris. It's also worth noting how impressive it is that Kim and Kris also turned that fame into a multi-million-dollar empire. In the beginning, after she had become famous for the leaked tape, Kim was making most of her money from her reality show and personal appearances. As time went on though, some of her money started to trickle in from product endorsements as well, and then eventually Kim created her own clothing line and fragrances, which definitely helped her entire net worth. Kim is worth $85 million just on her own, and it's all from having some arguably bad publicity and being undeniably good looking. Number 8, unrealistic standards. On the topic of being undeniably good looking, that also kind of comes with its own negative aspect as well. That being that a lot of the Kardashians don't look how they naturally were born to be thanks to cosmetic surgeries. Most of us have seen the before and after pictures of Kim, Khloe, Kourtney, Kylie, and Kris. On a surface level, there's nothing wrong with using your money however you want to make yourself look how you want to look, but a lot of people feel that her and her sisters contribute to unrealistic body expectations with their alleged plastic surgery. surgery. Being as famous and iconic as they are as celebrities, many younger generations grow up idolizing the Kardashians and wanting to look like them. And since it was impossible for even them to naturally look like them, many young women are left feeling inadequate as the Kardashians are essentially promoted as our beauty standards today. A 2018 study of the American Society for Plastic Surgeons found that butt-enhancing procedures had increased by 256% since the year 2000. And in the UK, inquiries into lip augmentation jumped 70% in 24 hours after the Keeping Up with the Kardashian episode where Kylie finally admitted to having a lip-filling surgery, while the American Society for Plastic Surgeons reported a double-digit increase in lip procedures performed in 2016, the year after Jenner said she got her filler. That was just once Kylie finally admitted. It does not help that the Kardashians have tried to deny that they received cosmetic enhancements in the first place. Number 7. Mirror selfie. In March 2016, Kim Kardashian broke the internet for the upteenth time when she took to Instagram with a fully nude mirror selfie post. Like most things Kardashian does, the photo prompted reactions of all kinds and many from other female celebrities. Chloe Grace Moretz took to the internet with her thoughts when the viral post dropped. She tweeted to Kim herself, quote, "I truly hope you realize how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them we have so much more to offer than our bodies." Which resulted in some rather ruthless clapbacks from Kim herself. But Chloe wasn't alone. The pic also gathered the attention of the talk host Sharon Osbourne. She told The Telegraph, quote, "Kim says she's doing everything in the name of feminism, but that's not feminism. Those girls live off their bodies. Half of LA has been through them, and everything they do from sex tape to the plastic see-through dresses and the gym wear is about sex, not female progress." There was also a brief battle between Kim and Betty Midler, which egged on a comment from the singer Pink that read, quote, "Shout out to all the women across the world using their brains, their strength, their work ethic, their talent, their magic that they were born with that only they possess. It may not ever bring you as much attention or banknotes as using your body, your sex, but women like you don't need that kind of attention anyways." And coming in at number 6, it's Kris Humphries. In 2011, Kim Kardashian married NBA player Kris Humphries in an ultra-lavish $10 million wedding. The ceremony was televised as a 4-hour fairy tale event with over 4 million viewers tuning in, and Kim pocketed a cool $2 million for that. Then, after just 72 days, she called it quits, citing irreconcilable differences. For Kardashian haters, spending $10 million on a wedding that resulted in a marriage that lasted less than 3 months only showcases how incredibly frivolous and immature Kim Kardashian can be. Many thought that this marriage was merely a publicity stunt and there was no actual love involved because of how short it was. Although Kim denied that, Kris eventually started to believe that he had been used as a pawn in the stunt. Kris even took Kim to court, alluding to the fact that she made money off of their marriage through endorsements. Eventually, this all settled down, but many still think this was all a PR stunt, including Kris Humphries himself. Number 5. Model status. The Kardashian-Jenners have all gotten themselves involved in fashion, taking on modeling careers of their own, which have been built mainly upon their fame, which, as we already covered, wasn't earned for the greatest of reasons. Among others in the modeling community who have built their careers from nothing to success, Kim and her clan are not really well respected, especially because of the advantages they somewhat unfairly possess. As an example, supermodel Janice Dickinson took issue with Kardashian and Kanye West's 2014 Vogue cover. In 2016, she told the Tomorrow Show that Kardashian's Vogue cover made her, quote, "want to vomit," and made a point to say that, quote, "they're not models, they're reality TV stars." Model Naomi Campbell also weighed in on the Vogue cover, appearing on the Morning Show in 2014, where she was asked about her thoughts. Campbell seemed very hesitant to give an honest answer at first, initially saying, "I do not want to comment," with a kind of sly smile. But when asked why, Campbell said, quote, "I'm a fashion model and I've been working for 28 years. When you get a Vogue cover, it's a build in your career. It's a stepping stone to achieve that," suggesting that she doesn't believe Kardashian earned her spot on that cover, which from a model's perspective, that's kind of fair to say. Number 4. Taylor Swift. Many may know that Kim is no stranger to drama, but you know who else ain't a stranger to drama? Taylor Swift. And the Swift fans are pretty unforgiving. Kardashian's feud with Taylor Swift is extensive. The details behind her beef date back to the infamous 2009 VMA acceptance speech when Kanye stormed Taylor's stage. That came to an even bitter head in 2016 when West dropped his song Famous, in which he refers to Taylor Swift as that bitch. Apparently, West wrote in a since deleted tweet that Swift had permitted him to include the lyrics in his song, which was backed up by Kim in July 2016 when she posted a video clip of a call West made to Taylor Swift in which Taylor seems to approve the lyrics. Now, Swift's publicist then told ET that Taylor was never made aware of the actual lyric, quote, "I made that bitch famous," end quote. Swift and Kardashian seemed to stay in their separate corners for pretty much years until the full unedited video of the phone call we just talked about was leaked in 2020. In that video, West does not tell Swift about the infamous lyric word for word. Swift responded on her Instagram story by saying she was, quote, "telling the truth," and apparently she was. Kardashian retorted on Twitter claiming at the time when they spoke the song had not been fully written yet, adding, quote, "The lie was never about the word, it was always whether there was a call or not and the tone of the conversation." And honestly, I think this is just another instance of Kim not really getting the point. Number 3, a lavish life. One of the many reasons that people have a problem with Kim is basically because of her lavish lifestyle. Just taking a look at her Instagram or Twitter or any media outlet that covers Kim, one can take a peek into her luxurious life. Riding in the backs of limos, walking down red carpets, and being invited to exclusive events like the Met Gala, it's all part of an average day for the Kardashian-Jenner clan. Everything about Kim Kardashian is lavish and over the top, and while some say this makes her an icon, which it realistically does, others resent this behavior completely. When someone flaunts their wealth, it doesn't really come across that great to a lot of people. It's also something that makes Kim and her family completely unrelatable, and if you've watched their show, then you know that a lot of the times, Kim and her family can seem extremely out of touch with reality. I do think that this point comes out negatively though. For example, it's part of the reason Kim was robbed in Paris back in 2016, and people almost acted like she deserved it, which is a little messed up. Coming in at number 2, bad mama. Most people know Kim as a fashion icon, a businesswoman, a reality TV star, or even just that girl who was in the leaked video. But then she welcomed her first child, Northwest, and people were able to see another side of Kim, a more human side. Fans have been able to follow Kim's journey through motherhood and have been able to watch North grow up through social media and watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Now, North often is seen on Kim's Instagram wearing adorable clothes or playing with her equally as fabulous cousins and other siblings. And on top of that, Kim was humanized even more when she openly shared her struggles in getting pregnant, a struggle that is shared by so many other women. So, for many, even those who didn't like Kim, her sharing that personal struggle gained her some love. While there are quite a few positives to draw from Kim becoming a mother, it seems that a lot of people also found big parts of it as something to criticize. People think that Kim uses her motherhood and her kids to build up more fame, flaunting kids like accessories. Instead of shielding her kids from paparazzi, Kim Kardashian seems to flaunt them around in expensive designer clothes. Apparently, North rarely wears the same thing twice, and almost all of her clothes are custom made and one of a kind. That's just rich people living rich, but it's the dragging her kids out in front of cameras to places where kids shouldn't even be, that's where people kind of find a reason to hate on Kim for this one. And finally, in at number 1, cultural appropriation. Kim is no stranger to accusations of cultural appropriation. From when she attended Kanye's Coachella Sunday service wearing what looked like a traditional Indian mang tika, or when she was sporting Fulani braids and renaming them Bo Derek braids after another white woman, or the multiple times she's been called out for wearing blackface by wearing skin darkening makeup. The accusations of cultural appropriation are many. Kim, whose father was a third-generation Armenian American and who has Dutch, English, Irish, and Scottish ancestry on her mom's side, has staunchly denied doing blackface after she was accused of doing so for a 2017 KKW beauty campaign. And in other instances, she doesn't seem to be too bothered by the claims of cultural appropriation at all. When Kim released her new shapewear line, it was initially going to be called Kimono, until she was forced to change it to Skims when a huge number of people online begged and petitioned petitioned her to do so, including the mayor of Kyoto, who wrote an open letter suggesting she should rebrand to a different name. Wanda Thompson, the journalist who coined the term blackfishing when talking about Kim specifically, said, quote, "The Kardashians have been called out for cultural appropriation for a decade plus now, and it's no secret that they've adopted many styles that black women or black culture have created and made them more palatable. Now people think they're copying the Kardashian Jenners when they dress or do their hair or tan their skin a certain way." Kicking off the list at 10, but first this. I think it's worth noting that of all the Kardashian Jenners, Kendall Jenner may actually be the most relatable. People like Kendall Jenner because she stands out from all of her sisters with her personality, interests, and the fact that she is pretty authentic for someone from this family. While Kris Jenner and her 3 daughters, Kourtney, Kim, and Khloe, are obsessed with Kim's exploding career on Keep Up with the Kardashians, Kendall is always focused on getting Angel, the neighborhood dog walker, to do all of her chores. Not exactly the greatest show, and some people might view Kendall as spoiled and bratty, but she obviously doesn't automatically buy into the family reality business. The arguments you'll most commonly hear, even on this list, are that she can be difficult, spoiled, and super entitled, but that just adds to her being a real person who has grown up with cameras in her face, with very little privacy, undeserved hate for even being a Kendall Jenner, and a mom who is determined to push all her children into the spotlight. We gotta remember, she's a real person. But, coming in at number 9, Blue. As much as the clan of celebrities loves getting new puppies, the pets of the Kardashian Jenners seem to always mysteriously disappear as time goes by. Kendall is not immune to this, but unfortunately for her, I guess, Kendall's neglectfulness in taking care of her Great Dane puppy Blue was actually captured on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So we all get to see it straight up. In one episode, Kendall goes to Kim with her frustration over their mom, Kris, and the pup. She says to Kim, "Mom is being so annoying with Blue, she won't stop complaining about him," which, probably unexpectedly to Kendall, Kim shot back saying, "I'd be annoyed too, you're never home with a dog." When Kendall tried to defend herself that she was away for 2 weeks, Kim called her back out again and said, "You were gone for legit a month, and you left not even a dog, you left a horse." Outrageous. And wow, yeah, gotta agree with Kim on that one. That's a little bit of a yikes moment. No one really knows what happened to Blue either, but Kim once referred to the dog on Twitter in past tense, hinting that the dog is long gone, and now I'm really sad. Number 8, here's a tip, not. Back in 2014, a waitress accused Kendall Jenner of skipping out on a $60 bill and not leaving a tip either. Yikes. Pretty scummy thing to do, honestly. But wait, when the waitress allegedly chased after Kendall to get the money, Kendall turned around and threw cash in the woman's face and then laughed. Big yikes, extra scummy. This prompted the waitress to take to Twitter saying, "That horrible moment you chase a Kardashian down the street because she forgot to pay her bill to be thrown money in your face." Kendall did respond to the rumors by calling them ridiculous, and she then had her lawyers whip up a pretty drastic cease and desist letter to the server. Nothing says guilt like an instant cease and desist letter. That ain't all though, again. 3 years later, Kendall was also not a good patron at a bar in Brooklyn when a server posted a since-deleted picture of a bill for just $24 that Kendall had signed but left the tip field blank. Kendall responded to this one as well, saying that she paid in cash, but the bar accused her of lying. Being rude to waitstaff and servers is just the worst of the worst. Don't ever be like this. Number 7, not one to be upstaged. Apparently, Kendall does not seem to enjoy being outed from the limelight in favor of another. We have a few different examples of this. Like, in one episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she recedes the invitation given to Caitlyn Jenner for a Victoria's Secret fashion show because she didn't want to be upstaged. That's Caitlyn Jenner, her mom. But we've got another example. Scottish singer Talia Storm let us all know that back in 2016, Kendall tried to get her kicked out of a pool party. Talia, like so many others, took her problem to Twitter and tweeted out, quote, "It's a sad day when you upstage Kendall Jenner and she tries to get you thrown out the VIP area at next radio app pool party." According to Talia, Kendall got upset when Talia tried to chat up Hailey Baldwin, now Bieber, in the VIP section. Kendall asked a bouncer to escort Talia from the VIP area, but he refused. Kendall responded to the allegations by sharing a picture of Mean Girls Karen rolling her eyes. Nice, very mature, very good. Number 6, out of touch. And now we have moved into the micro list within this list of all the ways that Kendall is a little out of touch. Starting back in 2013 when Kendall Jenner tweeted, quote, "Just wish things could be easier sometimes, man," which resulted in a hail of fire calling Kendall self-absorbed. One person took to Twitter saying, quote, "Oh shush, there are kids on Earth abandoned and homeless who forcibly drink contaminated water because clean water isn't accessible. Oh yeah, not to mention cancer, famine, poverty, drought, disease, natural disasters, death. Humans are so self-involved. I'd like to thank my parents for providing me with a high HQ, and I'd like to thank my grams for encouraging me not to be a self-absorbed idiot." End quote. I think that might have gone a little overboard, but I think their heart was in the right place, so we can all see where they're coming from. Number 5, out of touch within her own industry. Moving on to Kendall's apparent out of touchness within the modeling industry, just recently she angered the entire industry when she slammed models for not being more selective with their jobs. She said during an interview to Love magazine, quote, "I was never one of those girls who would do like 30 shows a session or whatever the F those girls do." Russian model Daria Strokus, sorry if I mispronounced that, wasn't very happy about Kendall's words. She said, quote, "Whatever the F those girls do is do their very best to make their way up and try to make some money so that they can provide for themselves and their families." She wrote that in an Instagram story. So it's safe to say that Kendall just doesn't really get that, which I think can be attributed to a major thing about her, but we aren't quite there yet. Number 4, out of touch in a Pepsi commercial. Before we talk about why Kendall is out of touch, let's just talk about some of the advertising Kendall has done that further exemplifies how she just does not get it. You may remember a certain infamous Pepsi commercial that came out during a time when the Black Lives Matter movement was at its peak, and multiple fairly heated protests were going on all over the US. Fairly heated is a light way of putting it. The commercial in question seemed to try to capitalize on that incredibly contentious moment of history by having this incredibly wealthy and gorgeous model join a group of good-looking, relatively happy people marching with generic signs of peace, love, and join the conversation, and then after fist bumping with one of the smiling protesters, she walks up to the incredibly well-mannered front line to a police line of seemingly unarmed, unarmored officers and seems to put the whole issue to rest by offering one officer a Pepsi. Not only is the whole ad cringy as hell, but it devalues the whole movement, shows an inaccurate depiction of what was actually going on in America, and it suggested that all we have to do to end the conflict was have Kendall Jenner give people a Pepsi. But that's not all. There was also another ad for Kendall and her tequila company that seemed to appropriate Mexican culture. And in June 2017, the Jenner sisters unveiled a line of merchandise featuring their faces on logos and images of musical icons, including Notorious B.I.G., Tupac Shakur, The Doors, Pink Floyd, Metallica, Led Zeppelin, Kiss, and Black Sabbath. But this inspired a response from Biggie's mother that went, quote, "I am not sure who told Kylie Jenner and Kendall Jenner that they had the right to do this. The disrespect of these girls to not even reach out to me or anyone connected to the estate baffles me. I have no idea why they feel they can exploit the deaths of Tupac and my son, Christopher, to sell a t-shirt. This is disrespectful, disgusting, and exploitation at its worst." Number 3, full-on Nepo baby. Ending off the out-of-touch nature of Kendall part of this list with the explanation of probably why she's like that. It's because she's a nepotism baby. Isn't it an excuse, but I think it explains why she's just so out of touch. Anyone who has watched an episode of America's Next Top Model knows that the industry isn't very glamorous. Models are packed into tiny apartments and work pretty much all day for very little money and food. Kendall, on the other hand, doesn't know what that life is like because she doesn't have to work very hard. Where other models have had to work from the actual ground up, Kendall is a Jenner, connected to one of the most popular families of this generation. She has had doors open for her based on that fact alone, that others will never have. Kendall is always canceling shows and dropping out at the last second. In the past, she skipped out of Milan Fashion Week and most recently missed all of Fashion Month. Other models who have been doing it way longer than Kendall has can't even afford to do that, or their career and livelihoods would be in jeopardy. Number 2, she's ungrateful. Despite being a nepo baby, Kendall likes to portray herself as the most independent of her family and often describes herself as a loner who likes to do her own thing. An ongoing storyline in Keeping Up with the Kardashians, at least during the early days of her modeling career, is Kendall fighting to step away from her family's shadow and build a success for herself, and that is totally commendable. The problem is, although she was able to become a successful model and businesswoman, she was only able to achieve that through her family and from having Kris Jenner as her mom/manager. AKA, she was able to receive it by being a nepo baby. Although she should be pretty thankful of this, she's constantly rude to them. In separate episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she has shown this. We got the thing with Caitlyn Jenner. She got angry when Kris said she was attending Paris Fashion Week, saying, quote, "Why are you following me everywhere?" I understand how having a family around all the time, especially a famous one, can be annoying, but they're her whole namesake and kind of the reason that she is as famous as she is. She should probably be just a little bit more, grateful. Finally though, in at number 1, Mean Girl. This point is kind of related to every other point I put on this list. While Kendall is very different from the rest of her family, one of the ways that shows itself is that she's kind of even more mean. There have been multiple instances of Kendall showing this on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, even if that's towards the rest of the clan. According to an experience described by YouTuber Annie Mishler, Kendall wasn't very friendly when the two hung out together a few years ago. Apparently, they were all hanging out, playing video games and eating goldfish, and Kendall was sitting on the bed the whole time alone, not saying a word. If someone asked her a question, she was like, quote, "No, ugh." She was described as snippy, so negative, so just rude. But that's not the only time. Whether you agree with the whole Hailey Bieber-Selena Gomez drama or not, Kendall was somewhat roped into it too. Specifically in the TikTok that Hailey posted with Kendall and Justine Skye, in which fans called out the three for seeming to body shame Selena Gomez, getting them all the title of Mean Girls. But now you know why people seem to dislike Kendall Jenner.
In our 10th spot, ignoring her best friend. A recently surfaced clip from Vanity Fair's Twitter shows Kylie ignoring Hailey Bieber at the Oscars VF party after she initiated drama with Hailey towards Selena Gomez not even weeks prior. The three amigos, Kylie, Hailey, and Kendall Jenner, seem to be hitting it up while waiting outside the venue, or more like Kendall and Hailey were chatting it up, because at the same time, Kylie appeared standoffish to the side, pretending Hailey does not exist. In fact, when the reality star's sister is continuously speaking to Hailey, Kylie is faced or turned in the opposite direction like an icebox, seeming as if she doesn't even know who Hailey is, and it's awkward for her to be standing in the other model's presence. It seems unfair of Kylie to calculatedly place herself into the messy mix of catty brow drama, only to leave all the backlash on Hailey's shoulders by pretending she does not exist. Of course, this came as a shock to internet users alike, as Kylie was the most involved in the reported beef, fully inserting herself into the middle via Instagram. But I guess that makes a bit more sense when looking at all the optics thus far. Before we jump into number 9, subscribe to Where Are They Now to stay on top of all the latest celebrity news and updates. In our 9th spot, Liar Liar. Apparently, on top of being an unloyal friend, Kylie also lied about being a self-made billionaire. Kylie's massive wealth, opportunity, and resources given based on her family name hardly count as being self-made, and it seems Forbes was on the same page because they were quick to expose the business mogul for exactly that. According to reports, Kylie allegedly sold off half of her cosmetics company to a massive business brand named Coty, securing a $1.2 billion deal that January. As for sources, this was one of the biggest celebrity cash outs in the history of Hollywood, but this lie would reveal a big exposure at the hands of Forbes itself, which stated the reality television star was exaggerating the income and size of her business. They informed fans that Kylie's cosmetics was a lot smaller than the Kardashian crew was leading the public to believe. Kylie clapped back in a series of seemingly angry tweets, claiming she never fibbed about her income nor asked for their title. So yeah, the sneaky nature of her and her brand publishing inaccurate numbers upset fans and the public greatly, which leads us right to our next point. In our 8th spot, Bad Business. Of course, Kylie is a busy celebrity. Between being a mom, a reality star, and a full-time businesswoman, she's always on the go, what anyone would describe as a boss. However, internet users and former employees have consistently alleged that Kylie is not as sweet and generous as she's branded on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, nor is she the greatest person to work for. Take for example that Kylie apparently does not pay her employees. Andre Tabia, a famous YouTube animator, Bieber was once told he couldn't get paid for his work with Kylie, but would get loads of exposure from her public brand. Assuming he was getting a major payout, meeting Kanye West, and taking part in a possible Keeping Up with the Kardashians appearance, Andre grew excited at the opportunity. But the animator grew disappointed when he inquired about the financial aspects of the job and was told, "We don't have a lot of budget to pay you, but Kylie has a lot of exposure." Even worse, said exposure was only referencing a small print rather than a shout out on Kylie's social media for actual recognition. People on the internet stated that because this was coming from a celebrity who makes millions of dollars, paying her employees in the form of exposure is shallow and morally wrong. Thankfully, Andre made the smart business move and declined Kylie's offer, but I can't help but think how big of a yikes this all still is. In our 7th spot, lifelong assistant quits. Now, social media influencer Victoria Villarreal Gamero worked for Kylie as her personal assistant from 2015 to 2019, but prior she also served as Kylie's executive house manager and Kris's former intern in 2014. This steady working transition obviously meant Victoria was well trusted in the Kardashian household, having taken in years of the family's deepest, darkest secrets and dirt. So why did she quit in 2019? Well, according to rumors, working for Kylie is secondhand to a real-life nightmare. Despite Victoria publicly shutting down claims of her leaving to broaden her online presence, fans couldn't help but wonder why the two decided to terminate their professional working relationship to remain friends. She was a witness to Kylie's secret birth with Stormi and was there when the reality star launched her lip kit line. So wouldn't she have stuck around a bit longer? Maybe not. Because supposedly Kylie is over the top, and this isn't just about the time Kylie forced Victoria to ask Kris to change her flight for her, even though Victoria looked visibly scared to do so. Surely asking Kylie's mother to do stuff for her was not in Victoria's resume skills, right? In our 6th spot, Kylie's cosmetic scam. Kylie reportedly does not treat her workers fairly and puts them at risk, including not providing enough safety equipment while they work with dangerously harsh chemicals all day, using a very limited budget to keep her workers safe and protected, as well as sus minimal pay in general. This was revealed through Radar Online, which received their information from a former Kyco's worker. This piece was especially notable given Kylie uploaded a series of snaps at the time of her wearing a hairnet, goggles, and a lab coat to take numerous glam selfies in the factory, while her workers were allegedly behind the scenes struggling. The tone-deaf nature of this apparently proved to fans that Kylie didn't take her boss position seriously and turned a blind eye to her workers' needs. And while branching out in more than one way to gain cash is commendable for the Kardashians, their shady practices have steeply caused a downward slope of accusations. Accusations which aren't limited to supposedly cutting corners, committing intellectual property theft, and making profits off of plagiarizing less fortunate entrepreneurs and artists to appease to their own businesses. Kylie's cosmetics line is just one of the many K-brands dragged over social media for seemingly repackaging older products and selling them as if they're new for ridiculously high prices, as well as ripping off other businesses to get ahead. With none of these incidents being isolated and the Kar-Jenners being an image-based family, Kylie and co will continue to head down a spiraling path if they don't change their ways. In our 5th spot, uses fans for financial gain. When an article dropped about Kylie pushing a GoFundMe page on her Instagram for her former makeup artist's medical bills, netizens ripped Kylie a new one. Many people argued that she makes more than enough to pay off the hospital expenses herself, and yet there she was, asking fans to support her former employee with funds they probably didn't have, or even closely amassed to her own. This caused great upset as it seemed like another sneaky, underhanded way for Kylie to stay rich while squeezing money out of her fans who presumably make a whole lot less than she does, especially given the fact that she was listed as one of Forbes' 60th wealthiest women in the world at the time. This also lines up with the public opinion of Kylie hating her own supporters, only needing them to make her richer, while she snaps at them in public and disregards them as fools by lying to their faces, essentially. Kylie again tried to clear up the rumors by stating she wasn't trying to rob her fans and donated $5,000 herself, but social media users were not here for it, claiming that was literal pocket change for the star. In our 4th spot, celebrities can't stand her. Aside from T-Swiftie, who's been besties with Selena, there are a few other Hollywood celebs who reportedly can't stand Kylie. A couple of years back, news outlets alleged that Demi Lovato despised Kylie and her sister. Multiple sources ran with the story upon claims that Demi felt the two amassed fame for nothing, basically tying their success into their family name. Of course, Demi quickly shut down these reported rumors, stating she never said those things. However, additional sources were quick to debunk Demi's denial. Alongside Demi and Taylor is Jaden Smith, whose sour 2014 breakup with Kylie reportedly caused a rift between them. Kylie reportedly ended their fling with someone she considered to be her favorite person in the world. Being 16 at the time, the model broke it off with the musician, who apparently moved on to a lookalike of Kylie 2 years later. And And let's not even begin to describe Amber Rose's beef with Kylie for the mere fact that she was not of legal age when she dated Tyga, and how she supposedly snagged Tyga from Amber's good friend, Blac Chyna. In our third spot, Fashion Nova fiasco. The company behind Kylie's clothing line resulted in her being massively called out for her alleged refusal to pay the workers who made the clothes for her lines. In this context, this obviously placed the workers in a position of endangerment, as they were left practically jobless with no income to support themselves and their families. During the height of unprecedented times, Fashion Nova asked hundreds of their employees in Los Angeles and Bangladesh, with no payment or promise of when they could return to work to make more. In response, angry fans flocked to Twitter to call the star out on her quote, cheap behavior, noting how Kylie was living large in her mansion-sized homes, while those working underprivileged jobs for a company she was connected to were without pay. Another fan even commented on Kylie's refusal to pay for her workers, and how this blew her mind since Kylie had been blessed with riches and lavish things her entire life, but yet was still so stingy. The public garnered a petition with thousands of signatures at the time, holding demands for Kylie and the company she endorsed to treat and pay the workers fairly, including protected contracts. Kylie supporters were quick to point out that Fashion Nova isn't exclusively Kylie's clothing brand, but these were refuted with even more claims of Kylie's cosmetics being horrid to work for as well, as mentioned prior. In our second spot, she stole her friend's men. Of course, we know from earlier that Kylie allegedly stole Tyga from socialite Blac Chyna and then dated him for 2 more years. But what about her beef with Selena, and how does Justin Bieber tie into that? Well, allegedly, Kylie was seeing Justin while he was still seeing Selena, which supposedly ended their friendship and caused division between all parties. This rumor has been a constant Hollywood topic, as it's trended over shock that Justin never addressed it. Therefore, with the supposed fact that Kylie and Justin were hooking up, Selena eventually dumped the Canadian singer for good, which apparently irritated Justin, as he and Kylie weren't supposed to be anything other than a quick fling. It's also stated in reports that Kylie and Justin happened after Selena and Justin had already separated. However, Justin apparently blames Kylie for why Selena no longer speaks to him. I don't even know where Hailey ties into this now, but it's messy all around. In our first spot, culture appropriation. The Kardashian-Jenner crew have been called out endless times for reportedly appropriating culture, meaning they're benefiting from styles of the cultures they appropriate through profits and trends with no real recognition of where it derives from, even sometimes taking credits for things they didn't have any involvement in. And while Kylie is not excluded from this, in fact, other famous faces have called her out for this in the past, including Hunger Games actress Amanda Stenberg, who started up a social media storm when she commented on Kylie's then cornrows, famously using her Instagram page with her millions of followers to state she was disgusted by Kylie's rumored attempt to quote appropriate black features. Amanda finalized her comments by alleging Kylie managed to embrace black culture while failing to do anything for the black community in the process. Fans were divided at the time on the topic, and it's one Kylie hasn't truly lived down since.
Starting off our list today at number 10, we have stole Justin away from Selena. For years now, fans have been claiming that Hailey Bieber stole Justin Bieber from Selena Gomez. And I mean, it's not really hard to see why fans think that, as it seems every time Selena and Justin broke up, Hailey would just end up right in the center of all the drama as she was spotted out with Justin. Even with the star talking about how she didn't steal Justin from Selena on the Call Her Daddy podcast, when she went on to say, it's all respect, it's all love. That's also why I feel like if everybody on our side knows what happened and we're good and we could walk away from it with clarity and respect, then that's fine. However, with Kylie and Kendall Jenner both confirming that they helped Hailey get Justin away from Selena, it would seem as if the model lied. And her comments just seem a little too calculated, as who gets married just 6 months after breaking up with their ex? Nobody. So it makes you wonder if Hailey took advantage of the situation because Justin wasn't in the right headspace. Number 9. Rude friends. It's one thing to dislike someone for your own reasons, but having your friends join in on the process and mock your husband's ex-girlfriend just isn't it. But saying that, for years people have been complaining about how Hailey has been acting with her friends, especially when she's been spotted out with Kendall Jenner. As let's not forget, when both girls were under the legal drinking age, they tried to get alcohol at a restaurant, and when they couldn't get served, they left without paying the bill. Then the waitress chased after them, and they started to laugh in her face as Kendall threw money in her face. It just seems like Hailey's close group of friends have developed a mean girl mentality, and when they hate someone, they start to ice them out and make fun of them. Just take a look at Addison Rae after her friendship ended with Kourtney Kardashian. Not only did the Jenner sisters look disgusted every time she tried to talk to them, but even Hailey was rude to her as she barely paid attention to Addison when she had her on her show. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Call Justin an F-boy? You would think after getting married you wouldn't remember all the bad things that once happened with your partner, but it's clear Hailey is just too focused on the past that she has now become stuck dwelling on all the bad thoughts instead of all the good ones. As back in 2020, Hailey would open up about her marriage to Justin Bieber, and with it she would brand the singer as an F-boy, and she would even note because of it they nearly didn't even walk down the aisle. The couple who first started dating in 2015 broke up in 2016, and they didn't even get back together until a few months before their wedding. When speaking on their Facebook Watch series, The Biebers on Watch, Hailey would admit that she wasn't sure that her husband was in the right frame of mind to get back together before the reunion, and that she has a lot of confusion when it came to their relationship. She then retouched on the subject during the Call Her Daddy podcast when she said, "I don't want to say F-boy because it's not like yes and no. I don't know how to describe it because he was just in a different space in his life." Number 7. Controls Justin's friendships? Throughout the whole Call Her Daddy podcast, Hailey just kept talking about how she and Justin have a trust bond that's like no other, to the point it made us realize that they actually just don't really trust each other. And it would become clear that they don't when she stated that Justin often has to get approval to hang out and talk to other girls, especially when the subject matter starts to get a little fishy. She pretty much then went on to note that she makes her husband be brutally honest, and if he has a past with a so-called girl, then she doesn't let him talk to her. She also makes Justin reveal his DMs that he receives on social media before asking her opinion on their intentions. And when she finds out these so-called DMs push boundaries and she won't let Justin message that so-called person. But then she went on to say that she does encourage him to have female friendships, but when do we ever see him hanging out with other females? Because we haven't seen him even speak to another girl other than his wife. Number 6. The Road launch party. Just as Hailey was branching out into the skincare business, one lucky gust at her Road launch party would call the model out for her rude behavior. When beauty vlogger Iris Bellin gave the model's new skincare brand a terrible review on Instagram after attending the launch party, she would then become extremely frustrated over the fact that Hailey acted like it wasn't even her event, as she went on to ignore all of her guests. Iris would take to her Instagram to explain that she usually doesn't choose to attend events that she's invited to, but then she took a chance on Rhode Skin's launch party because she was genuinely excited for it. But in the end, it just ended up being a waste of her time. With the event being beautiful, Iris described that when Hailey showed up with her friends, they all went to this corner where only they could be in. Hailey didn't even take the time to interact with her other guests. The guests were also given no content about Hailey's brand and what it was really about. And honestly, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say none of us really know what her products are about or what her brand is about. And no one really uses her products because of it. But isn't the whole point of a launch party to share what your brand and products are about? Number 5. Too good for reservations. Sometimes it just doesn't matter how famous you are, you still need to book a reservation. When Justin and Hailey were in New York City, they thought they could get into one of the hottest restaurants without making a reservation. When the couple showed up to the restaurant in New York City, they would be turned away after they tried to get into the exclusive Italian restaurant after Justin's concert. A source would then tell ET that they tried to get into Carbone, but they got denied. And that didn't stop them from finding another place to eat, because they then went to another reservation-only restaurant to eat at, and they ended up getting in and having a great time while someone else lost the reservation so the restaurant could serve the couple. And apparently this is actually a huge issue when it comes to Hailey, as she doesn't like to book reservations because of her celebrity status. Number 4. Anti-feminist. Even with all of the Selena Gomez drama, Hailey's behavior with other women has become problematic for years. And it's clear that the model is just an anti-feminist who goes after anyone she sees as a threat. With both women having a business, talented friends, qualities, and families, the only thing that people have to say about them is how much they should hate one another or how horrible the other one is. And this all started over a stupid boy, which makes it so much worse. Now, we all love a bit of tea and gossip, but the fact everyone is pitting Hailey to be against Selena over her past relationship with Justin even has Hailey believing that she has to be defensive to defend her narrative. With Hailey letting all of her achievements go to her head to the point when someone becomes a threat, she is clearly clearly acted poorly in certain situations to the point she has treated other women poorly to come out on top. And by sneak dissing and cyberbullying other young women, she has created a negative standpoint, but then we see her whine about how women should be supporting other women, but then she turns around, makes fun of other women just so she could feel good about herself. Number 3. Fake personality. Hailey has always been pretty open about her struggles, especially when it comes to the dark side of social media. And even with the start advocating how people need to be nicer and not succumb to the drama that happens on social media, back in 2019 she would sit down with Refinery29 to say, "I think social media is a breeding ground for toxicity and people creating false drama between women and trying to put women up against each other and create these narratives that are just toxic." Since 2019, Hailey has been trying to explain that she thinks all the drama just needs to stop, but she hasn't exactly stopped her drama herself, because she has continued throughout the years to sneak diss almost every female in Hollywood when she finds them a threat. Just look at what she's done to Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift. Hailey uses her power to paint a picture to show people that she's a sweet, kind girl, but that's actually just not the case. Number 2. Cultural appropriation. So back in September, Hailey quickly began to be called out after she posted a makeup tutorial on her TikTok account and wrote in the caption, "Ready for all the fall things including brownie glazed lips." She quickly started to face backlash and accusations of cultural appropriations from social media users. With the video showing Hailey modeling makeup that included a darker lip liner and a clear lip gloss, TikTok users were then quick to accuse the model of appropriating the makeup routine, which is thought to be a popular style from the late 80s and 90s, originating among women of color. Also, not to mention, just her caption pushed things a little too far. Jillian Hernandez would then tell Good Morning America that black women and Latino women are constantly being looked at as lesser than any other woman, just because of the way they decided to do their own makeup. But then a white woman does the same thing and her lip gloss is sold out and she's now the face of the trend. What makes matters even worse is Hailey didn't even issue an apology for all the hurt she caused. And coming in number 1 today, we have Not Talented. There's definitely a reason why we don't see Hailey hitting the runway anymore. But honestly, even when she was a model, it's not like we saw her work a whole lot anyways, as it was kind of boring to watch her, and that's probably why her career has taken a backseat. Even with the model revealing that she's had a lot of difficult experiences in the industry, she's even tried to blame her halted career on having a bad experience with the casting director, with the model telling Allure, "He said something to my agent that shook my confidence when it came to the runway. I don't want to feel bad about myself in this space because I feel good about the other work that I do. So why would I put myself in a position to feel small?" But isn't the whole industry savage to begin with? And if you can't take criticism to better your career, then maybe it's just not the right career for you. But honestly, you would think, coming from a family filled with talented actors, that she would be a better actor herself, but she just keeps giving us Amber Heard vibes.